So you're wondering whether or not it's possible to plant a green field without big equipment. In short, yes. So about 3 years ago, I was wondering how I was going to get my green fields planted that I need to get planted, but I didn't have big equipment. I didn't have a tractor, I didn't have a disc, I didn't have a bush hog, and to be honest, I didn't want to spend 30 grand plus to get all this equipment. And so I tried to figure out what my options would be to plant a green field and to plant one that was going to actually be a successful green field that deer liked to come to, that deer enjoyed. And so this is where I stumbled across the no-till green field. Now I'm going to give you just a few steps of what works for me. And again, this is what works for me on my property. This is the things that I've researched. And I encourage you guys to take what I'm telling you and make it your own. If it works for you exactly as I say it, that's great, but just take it as an encouragement to start you on this journey to hopefully encourage you with being able to plant a green field without big equipment. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna figure out where you need to plant, you're gonna figure out what you need to plant, and you're gonna have to get a soil test. Those are the three things that you're gonna have to do first. Where you're gonna plant, what you're gonna plant, and you've gotta get a soil test. So for me, I've got some different properties that I know are gonna be spots that I planted a green field. This is year 3 of doing this now, and I've kind of figured out where the spots are that work the best for the deer in the area. So I've located my spots. I've also figured out what seeds I need to use. For example, I really like to plant a brassica mix, whether that be purple top turnips, radishes, and those smaller seeds like clover, stuff like that that are the smaller seeds that are going to be good seed to soil contact, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So those are the things that I plant, and I've got to get a soil test. So think about wherever you're going to be. If right now behind me, my buddy and I just kind of crushed this behind me with his four-wheeler. And if I were to plant this, which I wouldn't because it's kind of on a hill, so it's going to wash my seed out. But if I were to plant this, I have got to get a soil test in order for me to figure out what my soil needs to have give the seeds the best chance of surviving and the best chance of them being able to grow the way that they're supposed to grow and give the deer the nutrition that they need. I've got to get a soil test to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to that location, and here at a local feed and seed store here in Alabama, it's super simple because they tell me, hey, go out to the spot. You can do this in multiple spots of the green field or where your green field's going to be. You're going to shovel up dirt about 4 inches deep, and you're going to put it in a Ziploc bag, and you're going to take it back to the feed and seed store. That's what I'm able to do here in my local area and here in Alabama. And so what I do is I take the bag of the dirt where I'm going to be planting my green field, and I will send it off. I think it's like 20 bucks. They'll send it off to Auburn, and the people at Auburn will send me back the results to let me know, hey, if you're wanting to plant X, Y, Z, if you're wanting to plant purple tops, if you're wanting to plant radishes, if you're wanting to plant clover, whatever those things are, if you're wanting to plant these specific things, then this is what your soil lacks, and this is what your soil is strong in. For example, a pH level, and I could go way down the road here with this, but I'm not going to spare you guys from having to listen to me about those things. But if I need a higher pH level, that's going to tell me that. If I need more phosphorus in my soil, that soil test is going to tell me that. If I need more nitrogen in that soil, that soil test is going to tell me that. And so I'm getting a soil test to tell me, hey, these are the specific things that you need to do in order to plant the green field that you want to plant, or to have the green field that you want to have. So those 3 things are going to be what you need to do. Now, when it comes to the soil test, because I had no idea how any of that worked, I encourage you, talk with the people that work at your feed and seed store. They're going to be able to help you out. Ask questions, say, hey, this is what the soil test results are. I don't really know what I need, so could you help me figure out what I need to do? And they will give you specific directions on what to do if they know what they're doing. After you figure out where you're going to plant, what seed you're going to plant, and after you figure out what you need to do to your soil, it's basically time to get to work. So what equipment do you need? Super simple. I use a sprayer. And this is a hand sprayer. I use a hand seeder, that just a bag I can throw over my shoulder. And right now I use the Martin's Eraser AP herbicide, and I think it's the 41% glyphosate. And it will tell you the mix to do per gallon. So I think that one specifically may be 2 ounces of glyphosate per gallon of water. And so those 3 things are what you need in order to have a good green field. Now, you can get a mower. It's almost coming up to the point where I'm gonna either have to kind of mow the grass, or I'm just gonna have to spray it and kill off the competition. And that way I can have the good seed to soil contact. So those 3 specific things, the sprayer, which I use a hand sprayer. If you've got a 4-wheeler sprayer, that's awesome. If you've got a 4-wheeler seeder, that's even better. And then I've got the seed thrower, and then I've got the Erase Cornerstone Poison. I say all that to say I've been doing this by hand for now 3 years, and I've had tremendous success. And so I'm just encouraging you, saying, hey, you can do that if you don't have a 4-wheeler or tractor or big equipment. After you figure out, okay, these are the things that I need, I have this in place, you're gonna need to determine when you need to spray and when you need to throw those seeds. So when you get your soil test back, it's gonna tell you, hey, put lime on your soil, or put fertilizer on your soil. Put fertilizer when you seed to plant your green field. It will give you those directions. Typically what I do, right now it is about to be August 1st here in Alabama. In about 2 weeks, I'm gonna go spray where my green fields are gonna be. I'm gonna give it about at least 10 days for the grass to die out, to kill the competition, to where my seeds have the best chance of being able to get water and grow the way that they need to grow without any competition. And then I'm gonna spread my seed after about 2 weeks or so after I sprayed, okay? So around August 15th, I'll go spray, and then around September 1st, I will come back and throw my seed. Now, I hope this makes sense. If your grass is super tall, like right now, I've just let my area grow because the deer have a ton of browse. I didn't do summer fields or anything of that nature. And I will do a soil test each year just to see how my soil's doing. I will either mow if the grass is too tall to where even if I spray, it's gonna drown out the sunlight from the new upcoming seed. If it's too tall and if it's too thick, even when the grass is dead, what I'll do is I will mow down to a decent level and then spray to where when that grass is dead, it's called a thatch layer. I will have a thatch layer of dead grass to hold moisture where the seed is gonna be on that soil. Because if I were to just kill out the grass and get it to bare dirt, it's gonna burn the soil out and it's gonna burn that seed out. So they encourage you to have a thatch layer to hold moisture to help that seed grow and help that seed have the best chance that it can without drying up, without birds really getting to it, and without it burning out. So once you have spread your poison, or once you've sprayed your poison, once you've spread your seed about 2 or so weeks afterwards, once you have sprayed the fertilizer, spread the fertilizer, you've done all of those things that you need to do, enjoy the green field. That's the coolest thing to me, is because before I didn't know any of this stuff. The deer weren't really liking the green fields that much. They weren't really liking the plants that I had, and it's because I wasn't given the soil that it needed in order for those plants and what I was planting to taste the best for the deer, to be the most beneficial for the deer's diet. And after I tried these specific things, and I've got before and after pictures, you can see the difference in between where the grass is now and then when I plant my green field, or when I do the no-till greenfield setup, what actually happens when I actually start to get seed coming up. It looks beautiful. I actually had the biggest turnout that I've ever had this past year in my green field. The deer loved it. Seemed to be, they seemed to taste better for the deer. There was a night and day difference. Now after, I will encourage you to do this. After you throw your seed, I've heard of people coming back with a crusher, like with a roller, to pack that seed down. I haven't done that, and it's worked for me, and it's because I've used smaller seeds such as a brassica mix, clover, purple top turnips, rape, those type of seeds. And that way it gets me a good seed to soil contact. which means that seed has to be touching the soil in order for it to take root. The biggest thing that I can encourage you with is timing. You've got to be able to time this with the rain. If you time it to where there's going to be a 2-week dry period, it's going to be really hard for that seed to come up through, but that's where the thatch layer comes in. It's going to be a little bit better to hold moisture. But I encourage you to really time it to where after you throw your seed, there's a rain coming within the day or the next day or two to help pack that seed down and to help get the seed to soil contact even better to where that seed can take root and grow the way that it's supposed to grow. I encourage you to like this video, share it with a friend, leave a comment if it helped you out, if you've got questions about anything, and we'll get back to you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great season, and I encourage you to put in the work and you'll see the results.